Night Football tonight?
I picked the Cowboys are losing tonight. I mean, I don't know why you asked me that question. Them damn Cowboys on Monday Night Football with Cooper Rush. I mean, the story has been nice and all of that stuff, looking like Richie Cunningham from Happy Days back in the day. But it ain't gonna work tonight. I mean, they're gonna lose because they find different ways to lose. Their lack of depth, and of course, being without Dak Prescott, I think the Giants take them tonight.
RC, you're the only pick for the Cowboys on my screen. Why?
Well, I'm betting on the Cowboys defense. I'm betting on that rush from Michael Parsons. I'm betting on Trayvon Diggs being able to make a play off of Daniel Jones, who will give you an opportunity to intercept the football. And I do believe that Cooper Rush and what this run game can do can produce enough points to win. We got to think, when you look at what the Giants have done, it was 21 against the Tennessee Titans, I believe, and I think 19 when you win last week against the Carolina Panthers. They don't score a ton of points. So Cooper Rush doesn't have to come out and be Andy Dalton in Cincinnati, because, redheads, how to right?
I saw where you went there.
Yeah, but I think they have an opportunity to win.
And so I mentioned, it's a big day for Stephen A. for two reasons. Today is also the debut, the launch of his brand new podcast. It is called No Mercy with a K-N-O-W.
Okay.
And this is a bit of a departure. And Stephen A., I know how important this is to you because most people associate you with sports. But knowing you as I do, I know your interests go well beyond that, and that's what you're exploring beginning today.
Absolutely. Pop culture, entertainment, politics, news, current events, the list goes on and on. Obviously, throughout the years, people have seen me on numerous channels and numerous stations and networks and what have you, talking about things beyond the world of sports. And that's what this podcast is all about for me personally. I've waited a long time to do it. It's not a sports podcast, even though from time to time I may touch on sports issues. It's completely owned by me. I own 100% of it. I'm completely 100% in charge of all content. And in conjunction with Cadence 13, in terms of my distribution, you can find it everywhere. You can find podcasts. So it's a really exciting day for me, and I'm really, really happy. And I appreciate y'all having me on to promote it.
Well, and the very first guest in today's episode is LL Cool J. So you can't start any better than that. Stephen A., we will see you in 20 minutes for First Take. You are the best Stephen A.
One and a half handsome people on the show.
In the meantime, we have a whole lot more coming as we continue here. A reminder, Saturday night, we got a big game for you. We got Clemson coming off a thrilling double overtime win, taking on NC State, a monster game, a top 10 scoring offense.
I mean, the first thing you think of, I know everybody's going to say, Rex, your Jets are terrible. Probably true. All right, so kind of take them out. Then you got the Browns have been terrible forever. And so I'm just going to say the Miami Dolphins.
That's right.
Dude, yeah. Yes. Hello, Hippo. I got something for you. There you go, my friend. I own you. I own you. Are you kidding me? Where'd that come from? Out of nowhere, my friend.
I'll say this. I'm infinitely more surprised that Rex got that right than I am that the Dolphins beat the Bills yesterday. Let's show you how they did that. Rex is red hot. Danny, let's show everyone who's just getting up and just joining us how it went down yesterday. South Florida is the scene, fourth quarter. Dolphins with the ball. They're down by 3, but not for long. Look at this throw to Jalen Waddle.
I love that. They're taking advantage of two high safety post, middle of the field, 3rd and 22. Beautiful eyes and ball by Tua.
And then RC, we've got Josh Allen, fourth quarter, 4th down and goal. He's got a man open.
Yeah, you don't expect Josh Allen to miss that throw. Those are the MVP throws you expect him to make.
And it was that kind of day for him. And then here's how the game ends, Dan Orlovsky. They run out of time.
Yeah, Josh Allen's trying to find a way to make a play to get this ball out and then have a chance for a Hail Mary. They're unprepared for the play to take so long, and they can't get to the line of scrimmage to either get a Hail Mary up with a 911 call or get the ball spiked to make sure you could have one final attempt.
Instead, after the end of the first half, concluded with the Bills not getting a kick in the air. The game ends in the same way. The frustration from the offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey. The Dolphins are the only 3-0 team in the AFC. And well, it's not enough that we are having this conversation on this Monday morning, but look who is up with us early from LA about 29 minutes before First Take begins. It's Stephen A. Smith. So Stephen A., that seems to all of us to have been the game of the day and the result of the day. What do you take away from the Dolphins primarily knocking off the Bills yesterday? Miami, the last unbeaten in the AFC.
Not much to me. It's not to take any credit away from the Miami Dolphins because obviously they're better and they're far more impressive than they've been in the past, especially when you consider the fact that you got a guy like Tyreek Hill that only had like 2 receptions for 33 yards in a day, and they still won the game. You got to give them credit. Please don't get me wrong. But in the same breath, we know that's not the Buffalo Bills that we expect to see. We know what kind of throws Josh Allen is capable of making, and for some reason he missed the guy right in the right side, wide open in the end zone. You missed that. Obviously, you had some special teams mishap. You had a butt punt, for crying out loud. For once we get to not talk about Mark Sanchez. I mean, you look at the Buffalo Bills, they were a comedy of errors yesterday, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, which is why Dorsey, the offensive coordinator, was seen, being apoplectic. We get all of that. This is not the Buffalo Bills that you expect to see. And it would be one thing if the Dolphins beat them. The final score says that they did. But clearly the Buffalo Bills beat themselves yesterday. We'll see as the season progresses. That's why I don't take much away from it.
And a huge factor in this, for those just joining us, and Stephen A., so you hear it as well, Rex, once again, on the significance of where this game was played in September.
Biggest home field advantage in the National Football League is in September, especially Miami. The way they have you, you're cooking in the sun the entire time. When they're in the shade, it's the way the stadium is built. They put you in that thing, and you wilt in the fourth quarter. And I saw it here. Man, the offensive weapons were doing it. We saw it when Josh Allen's trying to spike the football, the sweat and everything else, and guys pulling up. They had nothing left. They were gassed. That's why I agree with Stephen A. I agree with the fact that the Buffalo Bills are the number one team in the league.
Hold on, Steve.
I can confirm that the heat near South Beach does have a profound impact.
Now, one other thing from that game that we haven't touched on, but certainly it is one of the things that most people were on Twitter yesterday, and that is that we saw the play late in the first half where Tua goes down. He hits his head backwards on the back on the ground here as being hit by Matt Milano, and then came back in the game to everyone's surprise. The NFL Players Association is initiating a review of the concussion protocols of his return to the game. For what it's worth, he said afterwards, RC, it was his back that was bothering him here and not his head. What was your reaction to him coming back?
It was also Jalen Ramsey's back that was bothering him before he was traded to the Los Angeles Rams. The first thing that comes to my mind is that the NFL is being intentional about protecting its football players, especially its most high-profile football players. And when the perception of Tua Tagovailoa running back to the line of scrimmage and stumbling in that manner is so bad, especially to the outside fan and to the public, you almost think that the NFL has to step in and say, we're taking a stand. We're going to make sure that everything is done right to get this player back to the field. Apparently, he cleared the concussion protocol, but when you just look at it from the perception, right, and the way it seems, it almost seems like the NFL chose, or the Miami Dolphins chose, winning a game over protecting their quarterback.
What do you think of it, Stephen A.?
No, they were lying their behinds off. We all know that was a damn concussion. I mean, I'm not buying that one bit, that it was a back issue. I'll leave it to the football aficionados to confirm or deny my assertion. But I'm telling you right now, there's no way in hell I believe that was a back issue that he got up from and then stumbled back down. I don't blame the NFLPA for investigating, but I'm also not blaming Tua or anybody else. This is a big, big game for the Miami Dolphins organization. And if you're any kind of player, you want to be a part of it. He clearly did not want to come out of that game, but he clearly appeared concussed to me. I don't want to hear anything
what
about
football players do. Football players play.
So whose job is it to then make sure he can?
But that's what I'm saying. The league's got to sit back and say, wait a second. You're right. That player's going to go in there and shake it up. I have to play in this. No, we got to protect the players from ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do. That's why the protocols are set up this way. And I can't believe that he could pass the protocols. I mean, I really can't, because when you turn around, all of a sudden now he comes back. Like, I just think that we got to realize the greatest asset about this game, this beautiful game, the NFL, is our players.
Yeah.
Protect our players over anything else.
But I believe they do. And that's why, I mean, no longer are you allowed as a player to go, well, I really want to go back in, I'm fine. And everyone be like, oh, he said he's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you got these independent people that are paying attention to this. You have all these different protocols that you have to pass. So my theory is that this was the case. I mean, there's no longer the opportunity for a guy to, and I get that.
That's the case?
But here's my thing, Rex. No longer can guys tell you, no, I'm good. I feel fine. I just got my bell rung.
Yeah, they can tell you as a coach, and I see you walking off the field like that, I'm not putting you back in.
I'm not saying that he didn't clear the protocol, right? Like clearing the protocol, like you understand you could get dinged up and come back and pass all the tests. Don't lie to me though, right? Like don't pee on my face and tell me it's rain. Say, yeah, I was dinged up a little bit, right? But I came to and I felt a lot better and I was able to pass. Don't tell me your back was hurt. The one thing gonna happen if my back hurt, I might walk tight, I might be knock-kneed and pigeon-toed, but I'm for sure not stumbling.
You ain't never had a back.
Beautiful.